So, George, when you look at the charges being investigated here tonight and the list of what was taken, as far as you can go through it, and there's a lot of classified information on there, do you think Trump's in real trouble here?
Yeah, I think he's in a very substantial legal jeopardy. I mean, if anybody else had done this, as I said last night on your show, if a national security advisor had done this, if an assistant to the president had done this, if I had done this, if you had done this, we'd probably be already charged. I mean, having top secret and top secret SCI information in our home, that you're not allowed to bring that out. You're not allowed to bring that home. And that people have been charged for a lot less. There was a woman last year in a very highly publicized case she was a civilian in the Defense Department, and she was detailed to the U.S. Embassy in Manila. And she took home to her bedroom a couple of just academic theses that were only labeled secret, not top secret or top secret SCI. And she was charged with a crime, and she was only using it to use as models for her own classified thesis. But the fact she took them home to her bedroom got her 3 months in prison.
3 months in prison. So, Elliot, let's go through this. The search warrant here, as we have it, identifies 3 potential crimes, federal crimes that the Justice Department is investigating Donald J. Trump for. They are violations of the Espionage Act, obstruction of justice, and criminal handling of government records. So, Elliot, obviously we're getting a little bit of context here from George with that example from Manila, 3 months in prison for that individual. How serious are these potential violations?
They're incredibly serious. So look, people hear the words Espionage Act and immediately think of cloak and dagger and trench coats and spies overseas. And it's a far broader act than that, written, I think, 100 years ago, and covers really just the mishandling and bad storage of information that could cause harm to the United States. I think, particularly with respect to the documents and picking up on some of the points that have been made here, the language, the definition of top secret information is information that could cause exceptionally grave harm to the United States if disclosed. And so none of this belongs, even for a former president of the United States, in an unsecure location out of someone's home. So any of these 3 crimes, and we can walk through each of them, but any of them, number one, carries serious penalties and is focused on sometimes gross negligence in just mishandling information. It's incredibly serious, whether it's the president or somebody else who might have been investigated here, who might be pulled in here.
So, George, let me ask you, because Kash Patel, and we just mentioned him, Evan was sharing what he is putting out as the defense for President Trump. He's now saying that, it was an accident. We had nothing to do with it, of how these documents ended up here. Here's what he just said on Fox News.
The GSA has since come out, the Government Service Administration, said they mistakenly packed some boxes and moved them to Mar-a-Lago. That's not on the president. That's on the National Archives to sort that material out.
So, George, the National Archives have been trying to get these documents back from Trump for 15 months. Okay, they asked for them. They negotiated. They sent some back, but not all of them. They realized some are missing. They gave him a subpoena. They sent some back, some more back. And now here we are. So how is it possible for anyone to argue that there wasn't some very specific, purposeful decisions made about holding these documents back?
Yeah, I mean, the people who are trying to defend Trump are basically desperate. I mean, they've been making all sorts of insane arguments, arguing that the FBI planted documents, arguing that somehow, like Carmack the Magnificent, he held them to his forehead and declassified them like that. I mean, none of this makes any sense at all. I mean, he had these documents, he had them for a long time. In order to have taken them from the White House, he probably brought them up to the residence. He had no business bringing top secret SCI materials from the Situation Room or the Oval Office up to the residence. I mean, he had no business having these documents. And as soon as the archives pointed that out, every single one of them should have been returned to the government, and he didn't do that. And that falls squarely under the prohibition of Section 793 in the Espionage Act.
Aaron, if I can add to that a little bit. Look, I had a top secret clearance for pretty much my entire time in the federal government at a pretty high level. These are the kinds of documents that just don't get mispacked or put incorrectly, as Kash Patel had said there, in the back of a truck. There's extensive regulations on how they're handled, what kind of room they're in, who can handle them, how they're shredded. Literally, there's regulations on the kind of shredder that can be used to destroy information once it's no longer, once it can be destroyed. So this idea that somebody just made a mistake and packed something on the wrong truck and it ended up at Mar-a-Lago is just ludicrous. What you have in a search warrant is an indication that someone, number one, a federal judge and law enforcement has deemed this information, there's probable cause to believe that 3 crimes were committed. And that's what we have here.